As we have a global audience, let me wish everyone a wonderful Wednesday, whatever time of day it is. I'm in Djibouti, and as usual, it's warm here. So my name's Jami Shawley. Thanks for the introduction, Paul. I am the commander of the United States forces in the Horn of Africa and a part of the Africa Command. So I'm really honored by this opportunity to be a part of the 2022 release of the Fund for Peace's Fragile State Index. The wide spectrum of all of the practitioners at today's launch, all of the audience that's dialed in, really shows the depth of commitment around the globe to continuing our shared efforts toward a more stable and resilient community of nations. The theme for this year's release should remind all of us that even things we thought were finished can come apart at the seams. And our recent past is scattered with wars. It's now scattered with pandemics. The Fragile State Index, however, continues to play an important role in helping citizens know how their governments are performing, and in many cases, very brightly, optimistically, hopefully, in some cases, improving. So the important index that this is helps policymakers, planners, and practitioners form a shared understanding of our key geographic and topical areas that may help move nations away from the edge and toward greater resilience and stability. So first, let me thank the Fund for Peace and all of the people that are involved in the development and the refinement of this Fragile States Index over all the years. So I too, like Paul, have looked at this for many years and not been a part of the inside. Sometimes fragile and fragility, those are not the words we want associated with our own nations. But all nations have some degree of fragility. And one of the first steps towards sustaining resilience against that is knowing that none of us, as people or as nations, none of us are free from faults and vulnerabilities, frankly. So given the exhaustive research that underpins the Fragile States Index, we can't shy away from that mirror that it holds up for us, that it helps us see ourselves, and as it helps those of us working in government improve our transparency and our accountability to the people that we all serve. So thank you to all of the people that make this index the thorough, consistent, valuable tool that it's become. So this annual event provides us an opportunity to take a moment to reflect on how governments are handling the many and the growing pressures all around the globe, from climate change to violent extremist groups. These are all shared challenges, and we'll find better solutions when we work together. And that working together with our allies, with our partners, to build resilience and to secure the promise of prosperity and security for more people rests on our ability to have a shared understanding of the nature of conflict in the dynamics worldwide. So the Fragile States Index is exactly the tool that helps to provide us with that common shared understanding of those very multifaceted dynamics. So for the U.S. Africa Command, the Fragile States Index has helped message the importance of our United States engagement in Africa in particular, and specifically the role that Africa and African partners played in that shared concept of global security. While the red and the orange on the index's map draw all of our attention, they draw our eye, that open door lets us remind people of all the opportunities that are represented there, represented by the nations and the people of Africa, and to emphasize the critical contributions that key partners like Kenya, Morocco, Ghana, that they're playing all across the continent. The impact truly is continental, and in many cases global. So since 2008, the United States whole of government approach has been our key to how AFRICOM, so United States AFRICOM Command stood up in 2008. It's really been how this command has approached all of the complex problems across Africa. Every single day, we work with our interagency teammates to integrate and to enable diplomacy, development, and yes, defense approaches. We call them the 3Ds. We work with allies and partners to counter the malign actors and the transnational threats that threaten the stability of the international order. We work to prevent strategic distraction from our priorities all around the world. And to meet these challenges, AFRICOM, Africa Command, is focused on enduring objectives, right? We look longitudinally. We want to maintain our relationships that provide our strategic access and provide us an opportunity to influence some of these dynamics across the continent. Failure to achieve this objective means failure in many other places in the globe. We have an objective to counter threats to our persons, to persons of democracies around the continent, to facilities, to US interests, whether those threats be from violent extremism or other malign actors. We want to prevent and respond to crises everywhere that can range from humanitarian and disaster relief to direct threats against our interests. And finally, we team with allies and partners to coordinate our actions, to enhance interoperability, and to share both the costs and the risks to amplify our efforts, our mutual efforts to achieve these shared security goals. Though there are critiques of various peacekeeping operations across Africa, just know that each of those efforts represents African nations that are answering the call to provide assistance, whether that's in their immediate neighborhood, in their region, or all the way across the continent. As part of our leadership engagements and training in support of many of these peacekeeping deployments, we continue to press the operational advantages of having accountable forces that respect human rights and that protect civilians. Responsible, respected security forces enable AFRICOM to work by, with, and through our partners in a whole of government effort. It improves security and it improves stability in Africa. It moves them away from the edge of fragility. World headlines will often fail to reflect the significant progress that's being made in so many fields across the region. Against great odds, several countries in recent years have held democratic elections, followed by peaceful transfers of power. We're all holding our breath, but in a very optimistic and hopeful way as we watch, most recently, Somalia. The trend toward epidemic control of HIV and AIDS is on the rise. That's a good thing. While the incidence of tuberculosis and child mortality continues to decline, initiatives such as Power Africa and Prosper Africa have laid the foundation and the groundwork for a new generation of regional economic growth and entrepreneurship. It's contributing to the gradual advance of countries from low income to middle income status. That's so important for stability. Whether we're policy advocates, whether we're policy implementers, the Fragile States Index provides us this common, consistent review of how things are moving and most often how things are progressing. Sometimes the snapshots are alarming, but across Africa, I can tell you, we see partners steadily improving and working hard to better serve their people. In Africa and around the world, the United States and AFRICOM continue to stand shoulder to shoulder with our partners to support solutions that help build resilient, transparent, and accountable governments, militaries, and ultimately societies. So thank you again for your persistence and advocacy. Thanks for partnering with countries, with governments, with organizations. We all look forward to continuing to work together in the coming months and years for these common goals. Paul, thank you for letting me be a part of this kickoff. And thanks for doing what you do. Thanks for providing this look and this refocus. Back to you, Paul.